wanted to make another discussion video and just about a random simple topic like, what do you do? Yeah, what do you do in particular? When you're winding down and you have a limit of free time, what are your hobbies? What do you like to do? What is that thing that brings out the creativity in you? For a while, I'd say it started like probably in 2022. I started getting back into stop motions. Prior to that, I would have kind of like issues with picking up a hobby, pretty much. I would get easily bored of it, or I was just flat out sad. But it's always good to have a hobby. A hobby it allows you to wind down, and this allows you to be you, to express the inner child, because creativity is just the inner child, pretty much. Whether or not your hobby succeeds or not, hey, who knows? But as long as you do something, and I think that's the problem, as far as being interesting and actually being an interesting character, people are boring sometimes because they don't allow themselves to actually pick up a hobby, to do something other than scrolling on a phone mindlessly and just sitting there. And we all had our moments where we would just do that. We would just be unproductive and not do much of anything. But that's literally just, you let your talent waste away. I needed motivation actually to start doing these hobbies. Because I just didn't have the motivation. I wasn't necessarily in the best of places. It took my brother to constantly, keep hounding me about doing something like productive in a hobby until I finally caved in eventually. But not a lot of people are willing to take that risk. It's much more safer to do nothing. That's the thing. It's much more safer to do nothing because sometimes we may be afraid of doing something boring, or we may be afraid of being boring or uninteresting. That's why we don't really bother to do those things that we've been thinking about doing and whatnot. Like, for instance, I was a bit hesitant making gaming videos like these, like just talking and whatnot. I was a bit hesitant about it because I didn't think I was interested enough to garner an audience. I didn't think I was interested enough to like hold a conversation down. I'm not the best conversationalist, even though I can have a discussion with y'all. I'm not really the greatest conversationalist. I'm more of an introvert in a sense. But having a hobby, I would say it definitely does miracles for your mental health. It allows you to express things, whether positive or negative. It just allows you to just be you, regardless. It allows you to be you. I never thought that playing video games would be a hobby, but it is. I just thought it was just always something that someone just happened to do. I never considered it to be a hobby until I really start to look at it. It's like, yeah, it really is a hobby. You actually wind down from your day-to-day life and you spend a few hours, depending on how that looked like to you, and you just do what you do. You play what you want to play. I never thought of it like that until recently. Even before I came to this, or like this light bulb moment, I kind of was like, if I could describe it, I just kind of found games to be uninteresting. Like, I had this brief phase where I just wasn't playing video games. And I just didn't find like the meaning in it. Maybe I was like overthinking it, being a little down, a Debbie Downer, I guess. Like, it had to really stick with me. Like, it's okay to, game, it's okay. I never really took video gaming seriously as far as that being a hobby, but it is a hobby. That's the thing with hobbies. It doesn't matter what they are, as long as it's productive, and as long as it has you get out of that space, that left brain space and it shifts you towards the right brain. The right brain deals with creativity, expression, and whatnot. And it could be anything, you know? The thing that allows you to wind down, hell, it could even be fishing, for all I know. I never tried fishing. But people would be a lot more interesting if they actually took up a hobby. Instead of mindlessly scrolling on social media or binge watching the latest Netflix show, just try something different. Like, I have stop motion as a hobby, or one of my hobbies, and it may not be successful, because I really was hoping that the stop motion gig would be successful. It may not be successful, and I've come to peace with that, but at least I'm expressing myself creatively, you know, my creativity. I'm expressing myself, and the world gets to see it if they want to. And that's the fun part about it, you know? Like, I finally get to tell my story, because the thing for me is I like storytelling. I like being creative when it comes to storytelling, and I feel as if I can't express it the way that I would want to express it. I'll find another means to do it. That's why I use stop motions. Like, the figures are the actors, and I get to play it out, you know? I get to write the scripts. If I do use scripts, I get to add the music and whatnot, like a film director. But it's toys, it's, you know, stop motion animation. I have a blast with it. It allows me to express myself, and it does, it really does. As long as social media isn't the go-to thing as, like, your hobby. That means, like, as long as you're not scrolling down mindlessly and you wasting away all that creativity and all that potential, as long as you're doing something productive other than social media scrolling, like a mindless zombie, works for me. Well, just don't be doing nothing violent and toxic, but works for me. Now, a lot of people say that life is getting boring and bland. Well, it's only boring and bland because, well, you're not doing anything. And hey, I was at that phase myself where I just thought life was boring and bland, but I wasn't really doing anything. I was just, you know, doing my routine, and I just, you know, suppressed that creative side of me, pretty much. And it's already enough that adulting is tedious and hard as it is. I feel as though they want you to focus on logic and things that doesn't deal with creativity, so that creative part of you is suppressed, that individuality is suppressed. And that's the depressing thing about being an adult. It's like, when you have so many responsibilities, you don't have time to really be creative. And I feel like that's by design. So whatever way you can, if you can help it, just find something. Find something that you would really like, regardless of whether or not people say that it's weird or cheesy or corny. I hope that you find something that you love to do that makes you creative and expressive. Yeah. And see you when I see you. Jordan the Mystery, signing out.